Hi everyone, in this episode I'll show you how you can create silver or gold titles like this. So first of all, you will need these files. I will leave a link in the description, just click on it and it will direct you to this page. So you can download the files individually if that's how you want to do it. So I have separate file for gold and separate file for silver. So if you are just interested in creating silver titles, you can just download the silver ones, or gold, vice versa. Or you can download the whole zip file that contains everything. So click on either and then click on download. It should download. If you download the zip file, it will be in a zip format. You will have to use WinRAR to extract the files. Once you have the file extracted, you will have all the files inside the folder. Then go ahead and open After Effects. Go composition, new composition, 1920 by 1080p, square pixels, frame rate 30, and duration doesn't really matter. You can always adjust it. And OK. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bring all these files in. And another thing we'll need is a font. So there's this website called DATFONT or DAFONT, the font. Here you can find heaps of free fonts. So you can download any font that you like. I'm just gonna go with the script font because I think it looks good with silver and gold effect. So here you can click on script font if you want to follow this tutorial, or you can download any font that you like. I'm gonna go with Whitesmith. So it says free for personal use. So you don't even have to buy the rights or anything like that. So once you have it downloaded, just click it open and double click to install. Once installed, just make sure you remember the name of the font because you will need to reference it in the text file. Then we'll come back to the After Effects and click on the type tool and just type our text. For this tutorial, I'm just gonna go and type gold title and change the font from character. So if you go window, character, the character tab will open up, and just type the font that you just downloaded, in my case Whitesmith. Looking good. Now the next thing we need is to add the golden color to it. So I'm going to add a gradient. So if you go window, effects and presets and type gradient and select gradient ramp, click and drag it on your text and you should get two different colors. So for the first color, I'm just going to use something closer to yellow gold, something like this. So it's going to be lighter yellow, and for this one I'm going to use slightly darker. You can have a live preview here so you can always adjust it. If it looks gold to you, then you can settle with that. I think that looks good. Now we have to add a bit of bevel to it. So to add a bevel, we go Effect, Perspective, and Bevel Alpha. That will add a little bit of, if I zoom in, you'll see it adds a little bit of three-dimensional to it. So it kind of looks good. You can always adjust it. So now that actually looks like a gold text. Now that you have your text, go ahead and make a duplicate of this text. To make a duplicate, you just press Ctrl D or Command D on Mac. So now we have two copies. I'm just gonna hide the bottom layer. So the top layer, I just need the outline. I don't need the fill. To remove the fill, you just go to Character, and here this is the fill color, this is the stroke color. Just swap. So this way you only see the stroke. You can adjust the width of the stroke as well from here. Let's go with 3. That looks good. Then we just right click on this and go create shapes from text. So now this is a shape, it's not a text layer anymore. So now we don't need this layer anymore, we can delete this. So now we have the text and the shape. So now we're going to add a little bit of animation to this shape. We expand this shape and go to content and click on add. We click on trim paths. That way we can actually animate all these lines. So if you expand the trim path, it will have start and end. So if you just play around with it, you'll see that I'm just going to hide this so you can see what's happening. So if you start playing with this, you can see the lines actually plays along with the text. So this is what we're going to use for the outline. So let's add a keyframe at the start and move it all the way to 100 so we don't see it at all. Go a little bit forward and go all the way back. So let's just play it. I'm just pressing spacebar to play it. You can always play it by this play button under preview, which you can open by Windows preview. Cool. I think it's a little bit slow. So let's just bring it back. Cool. So now what I'm going to do is, as soon as the shape is almost about to complete, I'm just going to bring in this title. So let's play it. And at this point, I'm going to bring in this title. So just drag it in. And I'm going to add a little bit of fade in effect. To add a fade in effect, just press T on your keyboard and add a stopwatch keyframe on opacity. Make sure it starts off with 0 and then it goes to 100. So it's just going to add a little bit of fade in effect. Maybe bring it back a little. Cool. So the outline and the text appears. So I'm going to leave it like this for a bit and then the text will go back. So I'm just going to copy these keyframes, Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to just reverse them. So right now it goes from 0 to 100. I'm just going to reverse them, so it's going to go from 100 to 0. You can always do it manually, but this way it's faster. So keyframe assistant, time reverse keyframe, so it's going to go from 0 to 100 to 0. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the outline. If you want to see the keyframe, you just press U on your keyboard, so you'll see the keyframes. Again, Control C, Control V, time reverse keyframes. So outline, text, it's going to stay for a bit. Cool. So now we can just end this. Control or Command Shift D to split it and then delete. Control or Command Shift D, split and delete. So this is our text. Now I'm going to add a little bit effects to it. So as soon as the text appears, I'm going to add a little bit of shower, sparkle shower to it. So we have background sparkles gold, background sparkle silver, sparkle shower gold, sparkle shower silver. So I'm going to use the sparkle shower gold, bring it in on top, make sure it starts when the text appears. So at this point you can resize it as well based on your text, how big the text is on your screen. And right now you just see a black background. To remove the black background, you just select the mode from here. If you don't see the mode here, you might have a switch channel here, or you can always right click, columns and modes. This will bring this mode up. Just select add, that will remove the background. So let's see the effect. I think it's a little bit of delay. So you can always play around with it. I think that looks good. And one more thing I will add is a little bit of sparkle. So you know sometimes the text shines. So this is basically that shine. So when the text gets complete about this, at this point, I'm just gonna add a little bit of sparkle. So I don't know if you can see it. I'm just gonna zoom in. So that's the sparkle. I'm gonna add one at the top of G, Control D to duplicate it, go a little bit forward, add one on L. I'm just pressing spacebar and click to pan around. Control D, add one on T, and Control D, add one on E. Then I'm just going to select all of them. Select the bottom one, hold Shift, select the last one, Control D, and just duplicate them a few times. So until the text disappears, the sparkle should stay. So maybe 3 times. Yeah, that should be good. So let's preview it. Outline, text, sparkles, text disappears. Great. So let's just put them in a folder so it's neater. Select the bottom one, hold Shift, select the top one, right click, pre-compose, sparkles. Last thing I'm going to add is a background. So there is a background sparkle silver, background sparkles gold. I'm going to select the gold. This is just going to add a background. I'm going to add a fade in effect to it. So press T, add a keyframe. It should start with 0 and go to 100. So it's just going to fade in. And when the text disappears, this should disappear as well. So Control C, Control V, and time reverse keyframes. Cool, that looks great. Let's watch the final product. So that's our title, gold title. So you can just create these how many times you like. So if you're creating, I don't know, music video, you can have your name, the artist's name, whoever did the visuals. So you can't really duplicate it. I would recommend just recreating them because you have a shape layer that only reflects with the text. So if you change the text, the outline is not going to change. So I would recommend to recreate the text and shape again and add the sparkles, because if you use a different text, obviously the position is going to be different. The only thing you can reuse is the background. But yeah. So I would recommend to recreate the text each time you need to create a new title. So that's the gold title. So I'm just going to put them in a folder. So the silver one is exactly the same. I'll just show you so you know exactly how I did it. So this time I'm not going to go in so much detail. This is just going to be a refresher. So let's start again. Text, silver title. So I'm going to create a duplicate of this title and create the outline. Once I have the outline, I'm going to create a shape. Once I have the shape, I don't need this text anymore. With the shape, I'm going to create trim pots. So trim pots, add a keyframe at 100. Go a little bit forward, add a keyframe there, 0. Cool. Once I have the shape completed, I'm going to add fade in. So at this point, the opacity would be 0 at this point the opacity should be 100. So outline and the text. And now we have to add the colors to it. So we go effect and preset, gradient ramp. For this one we use gray colors. Maybe even lighter. And then perspective, Bevel alpha. So I'm just going to copy these effects, hold shift, Control C, and paste them on the outline. Cool. If you already put the effects on the title before you made a duplicate, you would already have the effects, but I forgot to do it, so I just copy and paste it. So outline text, and then we have to add the shower, change the blending mode to add. Cool. We have to add the sparkles. Duplicate the sparkle, Control D or Command D on a Mac. And then the text should disappear. Control C, Control V, time reverse keyframes. Same with this one. Control C, Control V, time reverse keyframes. Cool. Control Shift D to split and delete. Control Shift D. Last thing we need to add is the background. So background sparkle silver. And then press T to add opacity. Add a keyframe at 0. And then 100. And just fade out when the text fades out. Control C, Control V. And time reverse keyframes. I think the background sparkle is a little bit small, so you can resize them. So press S on keyboard and just scale them up. So let's see both of our titles, gold and then silver. Cool. And that's how you create gold or silver titles. To save them, you just go File, Export, Add to Render Queue, and just use QuickTime. And you can just select where you want to export it. Make sure you close this composition, otherwise it will show you the preview while it's rendering. It just makes your computer a bit slow. So once you have that, just click on Render and it should start rendering. And one more thing, I'm gonna stop it. One more thing you need to do, make sure you end the composition. Press N to end the composition where your title ends, otherwise it will export the rest, which we don't really need. So let's try that again. File, Export, Add to Render Queue. QuickTime, I don't have any audio, so I'm just going to turn it off, but if you have audio you can leave it on. And desktop and render. So now it's exported. Cool, so that's how you do it. So I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any question, any requests, you can leave it down below in the comment section and I will try to help you out. Have a great day and I'll see you guys later.